Another question that comes up a lot is where is the balance with the growth when it comes to the type of homes that are coming to town? Typically, for a lot of small cities, it's traditionally been homes that are on larger lot sizes and are able to accommodate families and others. And what's happened in the last 10 years or so is the cost has risen so much that it makes it really hard to balance where it's at. When my wife and I first moved to Richmond, we were able to utilize a lot that was available in the middle of town, and we were able to build a home. It had already been zoned, and so we were able to utilize that. What that did is that allowed us to get into a home for around $120,000. And of course, now you can't buy a lot for $120,000, yet alone a home, but that gave us our start. And so what has ended up as kind of a balance is going smaller with houses. And so that's kind of led into a lot more of a townhome concept, as well as some rentals or other things to try to help out with what typically makes it hard to be a traditional home, which now is going for $500,000 or more, which makes it really hard for those starting out. And I think it's important to recognize that it's okay to have a balance of things, some townhomes, some other options that will allow people to either start out, or some are just in a stages of life they don't want near the maintenance to work through. And that's a really important piece that we need to look at as a city. Of course, the big concern that a lot of people have is it's not that you don't mind growing or sharing, it's that if you're not careful, if you put in a lot of townhomes, before you know it, you can have half of your town represented by that, or it could completely change the dynamic of what your town is. And so being able to plan that in a reasonable way of where they're placed, how many are placed, those are really important things that need to continue to be a discussion and a dialogue so that we balance it. As someone who lives here and has a home, I'm kind of a little bit biased because I also am like a lot of people. I love what we have and it's hard to see it change, so I kind of want it to hold. But then I also recognize as my kids are getting older that they're going to want to potentially come back here and live. And I've really recognized that if we don't adapt to that or have something that can work with that, there's no way they are going to be able to then say, okay, I have a place here that I can, one, afford, and two, that is a place that will be great to live and potentially raise my family.